crawling into the bed with his fingers in the feelings and all are left alone for nothing other than the loss of them. It was the angers inside of the heart, or the angels, and you can find there's something between, but the inflexible reason for the feeling that they connect to that stranger, for anyone so closer to that closest family, for the perhaps. It's precarious and what you can find, you do the trust in them, for the hand, for the hand, for the pain, for the suffering, for the reason to find the presence, it will become clear in due time. Here's that word for the one and you may grow. Love that person, but remember that you are yours to keep. This is the purpose, and you can find yourself to show how to save yourself for the ones, the fulfillment, for the lifting of the angels to leave the body, for the person that exits your life, that they will be stranger for you who wants to know more. It's so dark now that I can see any light around me, for that's because the light is coming from me. You can't see it because everyone else can. This is my soul, and I must have the patience to agree to meet my love. The word told me to, it would be fine. Those lost things were not for the love and losing them, something that were not for the set of keys, for the set of crossing, something that was locked, for the missing of it, for the sense for guiding. It was the point where you decided to stop searching, and maybe stop looking for the longer required, for the new replacement to be found, for the almost of it, for it never existed, for the moment you can be discovered, for the flash of recognition, everyone has been a hat. Yearning for the knowledge, for the minute, whatever it can seem, for the hailing of the life, but this would be longing for the crumbling of the note and the voices of the throat, for the listen someday you can find, but remember I was meant to be broken. Not like a sprinkler, but not like my heart, for the tears, for the continuing us improve, no longer for the love, for the summer to the September, for the distraction, the chance to meet it, for the remake to the soul. I sat, hopeful for the love of another, for the looking to true familiar, for the drastic, for the long ago, for the dragging it on, for the aching bodies in the sea. Longing for the learning, for the scratching, for the glimpse of what could have been, for the this has been the summer, for the hypotheticals and the experience. Not for the fine, for what I spoke, for the hollow of the neck, but this is the found for the same as severance. You'll find a little patience in the hands of your seat. Saw the lips with the smile and the laughter, with the sentence in my heart. Rising to the every crescendo, for the wave and every crash, and you can be whispering to my ears and link to time, for I cannot touch me. It's the time for you, for the constant truth. My guiding life for the morning star, for this is the testament, for the relentless and the undenied hollow, for your ancient love, supposedly for the carrying on, for you up to oceans, to inches and back to me. But this is not for the letters for you, or nobody else, and understanding the unforbidden. This is too far in for looking for you. It was taught for the both voice and the crossing the road, for the upright, for the bracing of moments, and I myself am not from the past and not break me. For the love for you, only know for you, below for you learn, never hold it hold back when you can learn for you, for the everyone loving you like they me, for the everyone closing to the artist, so I open wide, for this is I for you. Strangers with their arms in the sack, eyes with the arms and skills, for the secrets of human life, for the fine pulled back like the ocean, with the divine myself, with not far in. Miss you like a drowsy child begging for sleep, or like a bird almost made it for the sun, for the aching of you, for the light of the searching of a memory of a flight, for this is the sign, the new day, for the distance, the passion, the past and layers of the skin, for the falling in the new feet, for the sided clothing, for this is the pay for the dues and the unmammoths and the little one is shifting on the couch of you, sweeping out of the shadows into the sunlight, naked and free, for I can hear the spirit singing and I can feel the wings unfolding, skies calling my name for the going home. This is the crossing over for love, and what else is left? Take everything away from me except me, yet the crazy love anything will come besides this, for the shoulder, the fighter, the folder, the wildfire, for the edge, and the knife, and this enough for the soul, for the struggle to begin, the purpose of only the scratching of what was not scraping, for this, for you, honor the beat, scrapping by, for the scraping of what you call poetry as a prose. This is the two lovers that I can't decide between, for the something willing for the lasting of poetry to take my hand for the whispers and come with me and go for the wild. This is not constant, for the crazy love that you can find uncontainable. It was someone whose heart was broken. Who was it? All for the nothing, for the what you can see, for the eyes, for loving me, for what you could hear, for the what you can find, the love, for the words, for listening, loving me, for the actions and every fall, for the much of loving me at all. Crawling into the bed with his fingers in the feelings and all are left alone. Crawling into the bed with his fingers in the feelings and all are left alone, for they're nothing other than the loss of them. It was the angers inside of the heart, or the angels, and you can find there's something between, but the inflexible reason for the feeling that they connect to that stranger for anyone. earth spinning fast enough to see the press, to be folded upwards with the hands locked tightly together for the sadly beloved. Watch the faces grew younger for the realizing the earth was spinning in the reverse and moving us backwards in time for the debris reaching the point for no longer knew where you were for the grasping in the hands of the stranger. Letting go for neither did you. Had bad first a dream for that night, for the really, for the smiles, for the exactly for the whole time, for that I would dream of the new you. Or they're still absent. I missed you today for the between waking up and sleeping throughout you. For the meeting is somewhere inside of the insomniac's dream, for the world, for the perception, for this to be crumbling and over the given time, for the holding of the slightest touch. I wish I could have that day with you, for the sun, for the never who once and news, for the old night, for the sorrow, for the can go unto the foam and get the constellation, for the skill filled, for the sky filled with the stories and the whole how I love. I would not find that moment for I said. How long? How long before the answer can still leave your lips? When would I be made to feel like she actually loved, for two souls to fall in love, for there's nothing else for me, yearning for the closer, nothing real true, nothing for the presence inside of the felt, for the handheld, for the voice heard, for the smile seen. So it's not for the calendars, the clocks to not understand, for the notion of time, for the distance, and only knowing how it feels to be right now, for the another reason and I and miss another, the one of someone, for this not to be there, for to be taken away from me, for the next one, and only so for the feel, for the absence and just not feel, realizing for the separation, for the temporary. It's a sea of strangers and old souls and the fading polarity for these two souls to be heard. I don't know what it's like to love someone, I suppose. The world tells me I'm not supposed to love, but I can imagine how I must be someone for the freedom to kiss on the street, for this to not know who the love is, someone I cannot be with, for how to feel for the brain, for to tell me for one thing, for the heart and another, to live for the knowledge, for the own circumstances, to be different for the what and I can do, for the love, for this and gone to be the bearers, for what I can do, for that I can believe in, there's no less than them, for who is she? Where is she? To zigzag in a straight line for the absence in the directions, for she was to turn, for the took to the racing to a hedge of the mason against the setting of the sun, for she was the tide, for the came into the heart, in and out, for like the branch, for the breach, for the wood, for the blood, for that was flowered, for the heart, for the head. She was the book, for the not written, for the sentence, and for the scripted. She was the word, for yet you wish you were said. But it was then when she stars, for the still search, for the crowds, for the empty spirits and the empty fields and the soaring clouds and the city lights of the passing, the cars and the winding roads, the wishing of a star, for wondering where you could be now, for the years and I've said for the name out loud, for the longest since and I've been yearning for, and I have learned to live without. I did not mind, I still love you anyhow. Love you. Used to think that I couldn't go a day without that smile, without telling you the hearings and the voice back that then arrived, for it was so damn hard for this next to be thinking, for the harder, for the different, the singing, for the feeling, for the it was going to be worse and not going to be okay for a long time. It was a someone of vindication of having an event, having it once, for the open the road, for this, picking up with the favorite self, the sound plays for the stereotype, for this discovered on the bottom of the laundry. You lose your time for the thought of kissing her, for the holding of the waiting for the bed night, for the music and wishing I could too, for the morning for when I can wait, for the emptiness and crossing no street, for the sheets beginning to lose all over again, for things to be. Understanding that self-love that was running from all the hunted of the mean, for the dark, for the scumbling, for the oops, the heart unburied, searching for one thing, for I cannot set my soul free, for the stomach and money, for the inner calmness and peace. Now I'm beginning to see the beginning for how I believe in the becoming and yet to be. This is the relationship for the finding and understanding that the roles of the starlight, for the letting go, for the loving her. For this will be us, and I love her. She thought she loved me, for the spinning of every moment, for the sleeping apart, for the alternate meeting inside every time, for this is each other when we worked out. For taking naps throughout the day, for the ugly and the cat nap. So this is the cat person, for this is the thing for the eyes and beautiful, the strange enough to seem for life, for unmind and closer, for the setting of looking at her, for the daggers, and you can find something wrong. And we'll order that pizza together, for thinking especially coming when we're angry. For the argue whose turn it is to put that in the fire that you can find and play, for the sometimes we can find watching them on TV, for the really get back thing, for the you can only imagine these when it comes for reality. It's to be imagining yourself without that, but it's the not wanting to let go. Trying to think of the word closest to the love that will only come close to the mind, for the name, for the try to imagine what I can build and express, and across again of drawing it blank. On the scan for the worry, with the be not for the hurtful, for like the ray, for the splashing of below, for the ocean, for the mirror that I can see, for that to be staring back at me, for every day I can measure the weight, for the against the process to present for the drag, for it could be without you a dread. Crawling into the bed for the fingers and the feelings and all the left alone, for the nothing other than awesome. Crawling into the bed with
on
the
earth
fingers
spinning
and the feelings,
fast,
all are left alone for the
on
nothing
earth
other.
spinning fast enough to see. On earth
It was the
spinning
angers
fast
inside of the
enough to
heart,
see
or the
crest.
angels, and you can find there's something between with the inflexible reason for the feeling that you connect to that stranger for anyone so close to.
Grew younger from the realizing the earth was spinning in the reverse and moving us backwards in time for the debris reaching the point for no longer knew where you were for the grasping in the hands of a stranger. Letting go for neither did you. I had that first a dream for that night, for the really, for the smiles, for the exactly for the whole time, for the dream of the new you. Or they're still absent. I miss you today for between waking up and sleeping throughout you. For meeting the silhouette inside of the insomniac dream, for the growth, for the perception, for this to be crumbling and over the given time, for the holding of the slightest touch. I wish I could have that day with you, for the sun, for the never moved once and news, for the whole night, for the sorrow, for the can go unto the foaming in the constellation, for the skill filled, for the sky filled with the stories and the whole I love.
Jimmy, can we talk a minute? I've got some things that I need to get off of my chest. I know that we've had a few and it's far too late, but if I wait, I might never tell you. Can we find somewhere quiet? Let's go outside. I've got some smokes if you've got away. It's just that sometimes when I'm by your side, it feels so right. It feels like nothing could go wrong. Does it ever feel like that to you? Does it ever feel like that to you?
Crawling into the bed with the fingers and the feelings and all are left alone for the nothing other than the loss of them. It was the angers inside of the heart, or the angels, and you can find there's something between with the inflexible reason for the feeling to connect to that stranger for anyone so closer to that closest family for the perhaps. It was the particularities and what you can find. You do the trust in them for the hand, for the pain, for the suffering, for the reason to find the presence and become clear in due time. Here's that word for the one that you've been grow. Love that person, but remember that you were yours to keep. This is the purpose, and you can find yourself to show how to save yourself for the ones to the fulfillment, for the lifting of the angels to leave the body, for the person that exits your life, and they will be stranger for you once and no more. It's so dark now that I can see any light around me, for that's because the light is coming from me. You can't see it because everyone else can, but this is my soul, and I must have the patience to agree to meet my love. A word told me to, it would be found. Those lost things were not for the loving and losing, something that were not for the set of keys, for the set of crossing, something that was locked, for the missing of it, for the sense for guiding. It was the point at where you decided to stop searching and maybe stop looking for the longer required for the new replacement to be found, for that almost of it for never existed, for the moment that you can rediscover, for the flash of recognition everyone has been had. Yearning for the knowledge, for the minute, whatever it can seem, for the holding of the life. But this would be the longing for the crumbling of the note and the voices of the throat, for the distance someday you could find, for the remember I was meant to be broken. But not like a sprinkler, but not like my heart for the tears, for the between us improved no longer from the love, for the summers to the September, for the distraction, the chance, the meeting, for the remates in the soul. I sat hopeful for the love of another, for the looking too familiar, for the gesture, for the long ago, for the dragging it on, for the aching bodies in the sea, the longing for the learning, for the scratching, for the glimpse of what could have been, for the this would have been the summer, for the hypotheticals and experience, not for the define, for what I spoke, for the hollow of the neck, but this is the found for the same as severance and real. You'll find a little patience in hands, and you'll see saw the lips with the smiling and laughter, with the sentence in my heart, rising to the every crescendo, for the wave and the every crash. And you could be whispering to my ears and thinking to time for that I cannot touch, and these are the time for you, for the constant true, my guiding life for the morning star, for this is the testament for the relentless and the undenied power for your ancient love, supposedly for the carrying on for what to oceans to inches and back to me. But this is not for the letters of you or nobody else in understanding the unforbidden. This is too far in for looking for you. It was taught for the both voice and the crossing the road, for the upright, for the bracing of moments, and I myself am not some past and not break me. For the love for you will only know for you, for Lord, for you learn, never hold it hold back when you can learn for you, for the everyone loving me like me, for the everyone closing of the artists who are open wide, for this is after you. Strangers with their arms in the sad, eyes with the arm that spills, for the secrets that you can like, for the find and pull back like the ocean with the defined with self, but not far in. Miss you like a drowsy child begging for sleep, like a bird, almost made it for the sun, for the aching of you, for the like of the searching of a memory of a flight, for that this is the sign, the new day. For the distance, dispassion, the parts and layers of the skin, for the falling and the true feet, for deciding clothing, for this is to pay for the dues and the unmanners and the rhythm and the shifting on the couch and the you. Sweeping out of the shadows into the sunlight. Naked and free, for I can hear the spirit singing and I can feel the wings unfolding. Skies calling my name for the going home. This is the crossing over for love, and what else is left? Take everything away from me, yet the crazy love. Anything will come besides this, for the shoulder, the fighter, devoted, the wildfire for the edge, and this is a knife, and this is enough of it. So for the struggling to begin, the purpose of owning it, scratching of what was not scraped. For this, for you, honored to be scrapping by for the scraping of what you call poetry as a prose.